Hello everyone, this is Leimomi, Keliikuli Intuitive Soul Alignment Co-Chair. So I wanted to share with my audience and make a video on just basically, how when is it when you're really ready to kind of like take a step back and just like let yourself become back into alignment, and what really happens when the soul has become so misaligned, and really what that really looks like, and how you could be really blocking the very thing that you're actually looking and you're wanting in your life. So if you're just listening in, just say hi, just so I know that you're there. And I wanted to start to educate my audience about the different levels of what alignment is, soul alignment specifically. So there are actually over 33 different levels of what our soul is meant to, it's meant to grow into a higher level of consciousness. And we've never really been taught in school anything about the soul. So whenever we try to get in touch with it, we tend to kind of either push it away, like just ignore it, right? Just, I'm going to learn this later in my life, or you go after the very thing that you thought that you wanted, but you ended up not wanting that thing, right? And we can go back and forth in this and then get really, really misaligned. So let me just give a little bit of time for everybody to jump on, because I know it takes about like a minute before you actually are able to probably hear what I'm saying. But so I wanted to just introduce this new concept so that people can start to realize when you are misaligned. So I actually wanted to kind of draw this on my computer. So I'm going to flip my screen around, okay? And I'm going to show you basically what it looks like energetically. So hopefully you can see that. Can you guys see that? Can you see my screen? So I just kind of like drew these red lines here to kind of symbolize different levels of consciousness. So I'm just going to simplify it so that you just understand the terms of what I'm talking about. So when you are actually in alignment, okay, you're actually very much like connected, just like these different layers or dimensional levels, like a cake like this, okay? I'm just going to show you, the first 3 layers. So this would be like our, 3rd dimensional, second line would be 4th dimensional, 3rd line would be our 5th dimensional aspects. Okay, so let's say this is 3, 4, oh, this is hard to draw, 4 and 5. So we have like different layers of what our soul is energetically. And if we are very, very much in alignment, all of this will kind of like line up. But when we're not in alignment, it actually creates like this frequency of dissonance. And we end up with like each layer of our dimensional aspects to get very, very much how do I say it? Like you get in a frequency of not being able to receive. So I just kind of drew, if you just jumped on in, this is the 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, 5th dimension, and we have lots and lots of dimensional levels all happening all at once in existence, right? They say there's like 144, but we really just are going to talk about the way that the soul is designed. And so usually there's about 12 dimensional aspects of our soul that we have access to at any given moment at a time. And when we are truly connected, they all line up simultaneously like this. But if it's not lined up, we end up, especially if we have code corruptions that are in our DNA, all our dimensional aspects, they become like distorted like this, right? And so every time when you try to connect with the soul, the more you misalign yourself, the more of these kind of, we call like threads of dissonance happen in your dimensional aspects. So your soul becomes very, very like stiff, or that feeling of disconnection, right? Like you can't really tell what dimensional aspects are you being at a level at. So you end up with a lot of issues with the body. And so when you've got all of these dissonance going on, especially in these lower aspects of the soul, then they kind of look like this. They just like are totally not in order, right? And the more that our lower aspects here, the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimensional aspects are kind of like jagged this way, the more problems happen in our physicality, or in our spiritual, or in our mental patterns. Okay? So let me turn it around 1 second. So everybody saw the image, right? When each part of our soul has been kind of like energetically corrupted by different decisions that we have made that's not in alignment with our soul, we end up not being able to be able to fully express ourselves, and our body and our soul become so disconnected. And like I showed you with the different layers of your dimensional aspects of the soul, it becomes all jaggedy like this. So then true source cannot give you the abundance that you are wanting, okay? So then you're blocking and you're pushing away that higher level abundance that needs to flow in you and around you. And over time, you end up with health issues, like really weird stuff where your doctors don't understand where that comes from, autoimmune diseases, panic attacks, even some people get serious like mental issues. And you see this a lot with celebrities or people that have had a lot of fame, or they were really, really in that they thought that they were really in alignment because the outside world, right, changed into look like it was abundant, but the inside world got so distorted and so jaggedy like that you see that the higher dimensional aspects, no matter what they bring into their spirituality or the consciousness, it's all corrupted, energetically all corrupted at the fifth, fourth, and third dimensional aspects, which is the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional, and the physical level. So usually when that happens, of course, we need clearing work, we need to bring out our remembrance of our soul, we need our blueprints, we need to get into soul alignment again. And when the soul has been so disconnected from you over time, it's like you don't even remember the feeling of what that is, right? So I'm explaining this because a lot of people who have been very successful, they know what I'm talking about. You maybe have done work that you thought was your purposeful work, and a lot of people loved you, made a lot of money, you became very well known in your industry, you name it, right? All of that was happening on the outside, but the inside part of your world and your dimensional aspects, you're not able to receive source energy, right? So then you end up getting very lost. You have all of these symptoms that don't really make sense. And no matter how you try to address it at the physical, the third dimensional way, right? Get massages or go to the doctor to try and fix the problem, it doesn't work. You also try to go to a therapist or try to fix the mental problem or the mindset issues and stuff like that. It doesn't work. Why? Because all that levels, the fifth and the fourth and the third dimensional aspects, have been totally corrupted energetically, right? So this is why it's so important to choose things that are most aligned to you, and choose from a place of the soul. Choose from a place of what's going to make you the most happiest, rather than what's going to create this abundance, right, for you. Okay, so I'm going to turn back the screen so you're going to see it again. So remember now, when you've got all of these kind of code corruptions or things that are what we call like from your past life or whatever. Past life just really means like what has happened before your incarnation or even right now. Then you end up not being very clear. And then, so when Source wants to bring in like pure like energy or helping you to, expand your consciousness or anything, it's not able to come through like a wave of Source energy this way. This is actually how Source comes through in all dimensional aspects. They all have to be very, very much lined up. So what you actually need to do is you need to restore your kind of code corruptions. And this is kind of what you can do in the Akashic Records, or in further clearing work. So if you've never done clearing work, this is a very powerful thing to do. Whether you do it with me or anybody else, like this is why it's important to start to be aligning your lower dimensional aspects here, and restoring it. Okay, I'm talking from a spiritual level, why that's so important. So once you've patched up all of that, okay, I'm having fun with these colors here. Once you've patched up the lower dimensional aspects like this, right, and you make choices that are in alignment to the soul, that's in alignment to your level of abundance that you want to bring into your life, it will grow and grow, and you'll have the stability to bring in this level of abundance, and you have this container to hold all of Source energy this way into your being. Oops. I'm trying to like draw this blue here. Think of this blue as Source, okay? So you filled up your cup, and so your whole third dimensional aspect becomes just Source. So you no longer have these like corruptions or anything, and your whole life is the embodiment of Source, and you're just full of this light, and you no longer feel this like this feeling like you have to work really hard, and everything, every people, places, and things that you need, they will show up for you in your lower dimensional aspects here. Okay. But right now, what's happening is all of this dimensional aspects of the soul has been corrupted somehow from decisions or behaviors and things that you've done in the past. And so Source energy cannot come through into your third dimensional aspect, and then you're blocking everything of being able to receive from this capacity. Okay. Hi, Deborah. You had to turn it off. You couldn't see my screen, maybe. So I want to show you just that visual. That's basically kind of like what I've seen has been happening to many successful people. I myself too. So I know what's happening on a soulful level, and also from the multi-dimensional levels that I was just trying to draw for you. Okay. Anybody have questions about that? Maybe you guys didn't get to watch the beginning. If anything, then watch it again, because I was just sharing about what that really looks like when you are not in alignment, in the different dimensional aspects, because there's really 12 dimensional aspects of what the soul is. And so when your lower dimensional aspects have been distorted by all the different choices and the wrong things that you've done at a third dimensional level, you have to actually clear out the old stuff, and so that Source energy can move through you, by actually making choices that bring in higher level of abundance. So that's how you know that you're kind of blocking the very thing that you wanted. It's because your mind, your body, and spirit, they have these kind of like feeling of disconnection. And symptoms of that would be not knowing your purpose. Could be you're feeling like anxious all the time or irritable from other people. You get angry or frustrated often. Being very emotional, sadness out of nowhere. Feeling like you can't create your life, feeling powerless, hopeless, typically what you've ever heard of disempowered people, right? That's how it feels like. And the further you push yourself into that direction, that's how you know that you're not in alignment. But that doesn't mean that you cannot experience abundance at the same time. Because I've seen many, many people who are amazing at what they do. They're master genius at what they do. They look like they're helping tons of people, industry leaders, right? But then they themselves are not in alignment, and then they misaligned thousands of people that they work with. So this is why it's so important for everybody to know that soul alignment doesn't mean that you have a lot of abundance on a physical level. That doesn't mean that you're in alignment. And also, of course, there's also the opposite where you're completely disempowered and you don't have anything at all, right? Obviously, you can feel totally misalignment in that way too. But you can even see people who don't have much, that they have amazing like happiness and love in their life, right? Maybe they don't have a lot of money, but they have a different kind of abundance. And the reason is probably because they have a deeper connection to their soul, but maybe not at the capacity that they may have known before. So this is the reason why you need to know what is your conscious level of your alignment. So I think I would create another live stream to explain that, the different levels of the consciousness this way. So then you can see like, well, what level am I at? And what do I need to work on next? Because I don't think like anybody ever teaches you, that what are these levels of consciousness? Because we just assume, well, if I have, money and I have, lots of loving people around me or whatever on the outside, doesn't always mean you have that consciousness. Or you could have the opposite where you have like nothing at all, and but you still can be having that level of consciousness. So never ever look out from what's outside of you to say that you are not in alignment. You really have to look at it from a form of what your consciousness is. So anybody have questions about that? I tried to make it a bit simple when I shared the screen, but I don't know if everybody got it. And I think it probably dropped off a couple of times, right? Some of you got dropped off. Hi, Rick. Hi, Leala. Hi, Joanna. Oh, Deborah, did you get back on? Maybe you didn't. Okay, anyway. Was that cool? Did you guys get to see what I was talking about? If not, then we'll just replay it again. I had this awakening about this, so I wanted to share with people, because I think like we have been told that like alignment, and especially soul alignment, I'm using soul alignment to describe the consciousness of when you're connected to your soul. It's been kind of thrown out in the wrong way to make people like feel like they are special or that they know more than other people, like a hierarchical type of thing. But it's actually not about that. It's about like knowing what level of consciousness you are, and then what next level do you need to get to. Because we can go around meditating, doing nothing all day, and still be misaligned, you know? So it's really about what level of your ability to connect to source and your ability to connect with your heart and being that creation. And that is actually what manifestation is. So I want everybody to realize that manifestation is really creation. It's nothing necessarily to do about woo, which sometimes it does, because we always think it's magical because it suddenly showed up and it appeared. But actually it's something that you've done that creates some momentum, that you made some choices that got you into an alignment with your soul, maybe in alignment with your soul's blueprint, but you didn't even know that. So this is why I created my next program, 14-Day Soul Line Manifestation Method program, because I wanted people to actually see that manifestation is something of a deeper level of alignment to the soul. And once you have your blueprints and you take aligned action to the way your soul is designed, the further you will up-level your consciousness to bring in your higher psychic gifts, to be able to be of a higher service, to step into your leadership even further. And you don't even need to be an entrepreneur or to have a business or stuff like that. That suddenly means that you have a higher level of consciousness. That's not it. You know, you can be a regular person that's just amazing at what you do and still helping tons of people, but in your own unique way. But it's totally from the heart, and you're living in the heart, because that's the next level of what's happening when we get into this way of existing and living in the heart and living as a conscious living. You're going to see a different dynamic. A lot of the things that, you know, like you didn't get to see before, you're going to start to see. You're going to start to see the city of lights. You're going to be able to start to see the things that are not in alignment for anyone. It's just going to crumble. So look at where you are now and really rethink about where you want to go, especially in 2017. It's time to step into your sovereignty and to decide what's next, right? And create those things that you want to manifest, right? From the heart creation, from the heart space. And you'll see everything will flow with ease. Like the things that you want to create, they're just going to appear, right? Within 2 or 3 days or even less. Whenever I decide that I want to create something, absolutely the person, place, and thing just shows up. That is actually the new way of living. And when you're living the 5D, those things will just start to show up, and you actually are probably already being prepared from your guides and from source, and they're showing you these kind of things. So now it's just more about like acknowledging it and living it and going with the flow of what is. But you can't do that unless you really know how to directly connect with what the soul is. And so that's what the blueprints are, what your soul's blueprints are, and how you're going to feel that alignment very, very quickly. Actually, let me quickly show you what it looks like when you are in alignment to the soul. So let me open this so you can see it. I wanted to show you what the blueprints look like. I was able to like pinpoint exactly what the soul's gifts is and what the soul is meant to become by creating everyone's blueprints. So let me turn it around. It's opening now. So here is the blueprints that I create for you. I've actually decided to create a file so that you can know what your main gifts are, what your specializations are, your soul specializations, what star system you came from, what unique energy you bring into the world, what your soul specializes in, how does it bring abundance, financial abundance, what kind of business model your soul would love to create, what's your business energy, what your unique energy that people come to you for in your business, right? How your soul organizes itself, what's your life lesson, your primary life lesson, what is your abundance codes, how many spirit guides you have, even what your highest psychic gifts would look like, and especially your manifesting blueprints. There are these 7 comparatives that when you do the program with me, we take aligned action every day to get into alignment to each part of your blueprints. And it's amazing that when you actually take those actions to those parts of your blueprints, how much like your gifts really, really start to expand from that space. So can you guys see that? I don't know if it's not focused. So when I look in your blueprints, in your in the Akashic records, this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. And then when you take my program with me, the only way that you can actually know that if this is obviously the way your soul is designed to do things is you need to take action. So we're going to take aligned action every day for 14 days. And each day I'm going to give you a prompt I'm going to explain each part of your blueprints and then how you can align to them. You do a meditation to connect to source, and then you take that aligned action that day. Usually by the 2nd or the 3rd day, this is when like amazing manifestation starts to happen. And as soon as you take that aligned action, like, oh my God, like people, places, and things, they just start to come into the alignment, and they actually show up in a much more organic way. And so by the 14th day, you're going to feel really, really like I can do this myself, that I'm going to continue this momentum. But I tested it how long it actually takes, and it really takes a good week, but by the 14th day, you really, really get it. So these are the things that I prepare for you before we start. I create this blueprint, what your main blueprints are. So that's basically what we're going to do in my Soul Line Manifestation method program, and we start on January 2nd. So if you've been wanting to know exactly your energies of what the soul is, how you can use that in your life and business to bring even further abundance than what you already have, how to get quickly out of the misalignment by using your manifesting blueprints or using that part, because as soon as you take aligned action, like everything just starts to flow, and all the things that you desire, they start to show up without you even having to try so hard. So my goal in this next year is to start to really, really teach people how to manifest from the heart and how to live in that abundance and that alignment. And it really just starts with you knowing what your soul is and what your blueprints are. So if you guys are interested in that, you can totally PM message me, you can email me, you can also go to my website at leimomi.com, and on there you can choose, there's all my different programs on there, but the next one is the 14-day Soul Line Manifestation Method program. You can also join my Facebook group, which is Soul Alignment Leaders for, Soul Alignment Leaders for Conscious Living. And so there I also share, and I help you connect with the rest of the community who really, really believes in conscious living. And then what I'm also going to do later on is create like retreats and like live events so that you can actually come here to Maui and to experience this new way of living and living in alignment to the soul. And so I'm really excited about next year. I have really big visions. And it's so amazing what a year can bring in, and I'm sure for you guys too. So I would totally love to meet up with you guys, whether it's in person or online. Let's keep in touch, and then I can help you with more and more how to get into this alignment. All right, so I'll be talking to you guys all very soon, and so probably you'll see me again tomorrow, sharing on my live stream show. And I'm also going to create my TV show on my YouTube channel. So that's coming up, and that's where I have all my videos right now of my live stream show. You can go in there. It's just look up my name, Leimomi Keliikuli, and you're going to see like hundreds of free video and free information like this to help you to get into alignment. All right, well, I'll talk to you guys all very soon. Aloha.